Hello and welcome to the Dad Strength Podcast. I'm your host, Richie Leahy. Today, the item on this list is one of my favorites. It is something that you can play with your child. And I put it on the list. It kind of has a crossover appeal. This item is stacking rings. Now, you could also put sorting blocks or anything else, that style, so you can see what I'm getting at developmentally and why this is one of my favorite toys to play with your child. So stacking rings, what they are sorting rings, whatever you would call them. They're rings that come in a couple different styles. We have wooden ones. I had plastic ones as a child. Get both. I mean, it will help your child learn the feels of different things and picking them up and sorting them. So what they are is there's a stand that goes on, and you have to put them in the right order, biggest to smallest. Now, some of the ones plastic, I've seen them where it's tapered so that you have to put them in the right order or they don't work. The wooden one that I have, you can put them in any order. So while our daughter was learning, I would let her go ahead, put a block on. She would go ahead and put it on in her own order. Then would cheer, yeah, good work. Here, Daddy's turn. And then I would go through and put them biggest to smallest. And there's like another little ball that goes on top. And I think they were actually in the color of the rainbow. I could be wrong. So I could honestly teach another skill verbally that she wouldn't pick up on. But if you say it enough, they'll start to learn it. Okay, these are the colors of the rainbow. Let's say them as I put the blocks on. Go right through. So we go through, and that's something else that she can learn. Now, over time, she would see that I was doing them in a certain order, and she would start to do them in that same order. Very good. This is a size skill, just so they can see the dimensions of different objects. They can get a feel for them, and they can adjust and play with them on their own time. Learn developmentally, your own pace. Pick up different objects, see how they fit together, and go with that. The other way you could go, when I mentioned sorting blocks, they have ones that go by color. So sorting blocks, and these kind of fit the same developmental skill. That's what I'm putting on the Dad Strength ranking list. I like the stacking blocks the best, or the stacking rings the best, because you can learn that hand-eye coordination and get the fine motor skill development. Now, we also do have a gear set that's a color sorting thing, where it's like a caterpillar that is different colors. You put the gears in that color, and then you spin them. And that way we'll teach them, okay, where does it go? Another variation of the same developmental toy is we have, it's an elephant that has different shapes on its back. It rotates, and you have to find the right shape to put it in the spot on its back, and then you dump them all out. They have ones like that, but it's just sorting. Sorting, stacking, these are the skills that your child is going to learn, and they need to learn how to separate things. Great for fine motor skills. I like to do the physical skills with the child. You can help them, show them, learn how to take turns. You do one turn, let them do it. Don't correct them. Show them the right way. They will want to take after you. If they have a sibling, have them go the right way. Once they reach a certain age, then you can start to say, ask questions. Don't correct them. Say, does that look like it's the same color? And then they will fix it. Or that's not fitting in there. Does that look like it has the same amount of sides if you're doing the shapes? Or the stacking rings, like, ooh, it looks like that one's bigger. Things like that, just so that they can kind of see, like, oh, he's right. That one is bigger. I have to make the switch. So these toys and everything fit into helping your child grow, learn, expand their knowledge. And that's the point, and that's why I really like this one. And the item list isn't really in any order, but these last couple, as I've planned out to finish the list, I've tried to put them in an order based on kind of like things that kind of go together. So last week I talked about the musical toy with flashing lights. Well, these stacking rings are the next step. The musical toy is great for them to learn sounds and things whenever they can't really move. Once they start to move, these other toys go ahead and encourage them to learn some fine motor skills. The wooden one we have for the stacking rings is pretty slim. So it's very skinny for a child. So they kind of really have to pay attention. They do, like I said, they do have bigger plastic ones like the ones I had when I was a kid that I know our daughter has played with. They have those and they go in and they're a little bit easier for the children to get in. So what I would recommend is if you want, get one of those first when they're first learning, because they can do those with 2 hands, and then get smaller objects. Not small enough that they would choke, but small enough to learn those fine motor skills. The fine motor skills are very, very important because they're going to be pinching, they're going to be grasping, and you can kind of make your own game. Another thing we did was my wife made a sensory board that had sort of the same idea, where it was some other things that she put in bags. Maybe it was like, I think the one was like hair gel. You put in like 2 or 3 layers of Ziploc bags. Then we put it all on a poster board and put it on the floor so that our daughter could push and see that it's squishy. A couple of them were like sorting things, where if you think of like the sliders they have at the doctor's office, if you know what I'm talking about, they're probably ones that I'm not going to be able to explain well. But they are like there's like the metal wires and they loop around and your child has to push like little blocks through. That's another fine motor skill thing. Back to the sensory board, you can kind of build your own. We also had a bag of rice that had objects in it that you could also use to assist, like, hey, once they get a little bit older, can you find this? Or can you see this? That's like helps with vision. So the fine motor skills would be pushing the objects around, pushing through, see what you can find, see what I feel, see what comes up. And these are all very important for your child's development. So while I put stacking rings on the dad strength list, this can be extended, and this one item, some of the items I can't extend like this, but this one you definitely want to extend a bit because it's very, very important in your child's life. And like I said, use it for an opportunity to teach them how to take turns, how to share. At first, they're not going to understand, but if they get in the habit of doing it, and you can play, children like routine. So whenever you wake up, you can do the same thing every day. Give them some milk, sit down and play some sorting game. Relax. Go ahead, throw on some of their favorite music. You could even bring out some of the musical toys because, like I said from last week, the musical flashy toys, they can go ahead and extend and cross over age range. So while they might not have the same attention span on these same sorting games, they can carry them over into more other fine motor skilled games, like something that's more age appropriate. What's the one that we play? Crocodile Dentist now. She has to press on a tiny tooth. If it goes off, the crocodile will bite her, and then she learns still how to take turns and play a little game. Or like Hungry Hippo. You have to press a little lever, and the guy tries to eat up some marbles as your child gets older. But again, just follow the age recommendations. But that's it for the list for this week. Go on to ranker.com, type in dad strength, find our list of essential items for new dads, and vote each item up or down. I'm going to have a picture up for each item as I finish this list. We're going to be going through and making some changes to that. I do have a video aspect for some of these. It will take me a little bit longer to get all of the videos up on YouTube that corresponds with the list. So I will keep the list active. After some time, the list we will take down and it will be archived. So I have the videos up. The podcast will be up. I think we're down to 3 items left. So we have 3 more weeks of items. So check back next Friday. There'll be a new item on our list that we'll be adding. Actually, I think they're already all on the list. So you can see what the next item is. And I'll see you next week. You can follow me on Twitter. My name is Richie Leahy. Like me on Facebook or Instagram. And I appreciate you listening.